Okay, alright.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Donovan if this is your first time here. So today I'm super excited to be showing you this deep blackout sparkly smoky eye. I feel like it's the perfect look for any time you want to be extra dramatic. I recently finally got my hands on the Anastasia Soft Glam palette. I feel like I'm like the last person on earth to have this palette, but I wanted to put it to the test today, so I used this and a couple other things obviously to achieve this face. So if you want to see how I got this look, just keep watching. But before we get into the look, definitely make sure you like and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any future looks. I do a lot of lip swatches, tutorials, and things like that. And without rambling on any further, let's get into the look. Alright guys, so as you can see, my eyeshadow is already done on this eye, and then I did my brows and also primed my eyelids. And today I used a mixture of my Anastasia eye primer as well as my Too Faced multi-sculpting concealer in light beige, just because this on itself is a little bit too dry and my eyelids are really dry from retinol right now. Can you guys actually let me know in the comments down below how many of you are actually using a retinol in your skincare routine? I personally am using a Retin-A / also a medical grade retinol, so I want to know what you guys are using. I feel like retinol is such a huge epidemic right now, but at the same time I feel like retinol comes with so many side effects, especially like dryness around the mouth, the eye area, sides of the nose. So if you guys are using a retinol in your routine, let me know in the comments down below and what's your go-to, but also what do you use when your retinol goes crazy and your skin is like peeling and irritated, because I have some saviors that I want to share in an upcoming video, so let me know in the comments down below. But yeah, moving on, I did use my eyeshadow primer mixed again just because I feel like this is a little bit more hydrating, and then I'm just taking my brush and kind of patting it back out. I also did my brows and carved them out. So I am going to mostly set my shadow base today, and I'm gonna use my Too Faced powder foundation in the shade Almond, and I'm taking it on this Luxie brush and I'm going right underneath my brow bone and then just to my crease. I'm not setting the lid just because I don't mind if that's really pigmented, because we want the shadows to be super dark today, but I definitely want to add some powder to this brow bone area because we're going to be going really high with dark shades and I want a really nice blend. Alright, so time to go to the shadow. You guys do not understand how excited I am to finally have my hands on the Soft Glam palette from Anastasia. I have been dying over this palette. I've used it and needed one of my... So I finally bit the bullet and actually got the duo of this in Modern Renaissance on Black Friday. And this is my first time using it today and I am dead in love with it. And I can't wait to actually use it in my kit. I bought this for my kit, but I figured I'd use it at least once to feel it out a little bit. I just love this shadow palette and the way it's laid out, and I feel like it has so many essential colors. So we're going to be using this today and a couple other things. So first color I'm going to be going in with is Sienna, and this is a darker reddish Morphe JS5 blending brush. Now I'm going to start with the darker shade because I want this to be very pigmented. So I'm going to start off kind of in the crease by patting and then kind of blending. So at first I always like to make sure I'm getting kind of my shape etched out a little bit, and for me and my eye shape, I like my dark shadows to always be present and always be very defining, even when my eyes are open and I'm looking forward. So I like to add it a little bit higher, and now I'm going to kind of buff it out and I'm going to use a little bit of the shade Burnt Orange. And after I feel like I have that color buffed and blended out, I go back in with that Sienna shade again, right in the crease and outer corner to really just define and blend. And the main thing with this look is you want to take your time, add and blend, but you really want it to be buffed out. And this is almost like our really deep transition shade for our dark black that we're going to use later. And what you'll notice is I always buff and blend up towards the brow bone because that's going to give that nice lifted look. And I feel like that's always very complimentary to many face shapes and eye shapes. So especially right out here on the tail, I really like to bring it up. So now with my MAC 217, I'm dipping into the shade Cypress Umber right here. And this is almost like a really deep, cool toned brown, and I love this shade. I love how pigmented it is. And I'm again gonna start off in my outer corner just by pressing, because you want the most pigmentation from this, and then we'll blend. And then once you have most of that color deposited, I just hold my brush a little bit further back for really light pressure, and I look down into a mirror and I slowly start to bring this into my crease. And then once I feel like I have that color deposited, I just kind of slowly rock it upwards into that other shade that we did originally. Now that I have that color nice and blended, I'm now gonna dip into the Noir shade in this palette, which I really love this black. I feel like it's very blendable, and I'm taking it on this Morphe Jaclyn Hill JH40 brush, which is one of my favorite brushes for my eye shape and getting in there and buffing, but also really making it pigmented. So I'm really just gonna take this shade and add and blend just like everything else. And this is gonna be the basis for our dark shadows. And again, I always like to start off on the outer corner and then work my way up and inward. So now that I have that shape of my eye really traced out in that deep black, nice and saturated, I'm gonna go back in with my smaller 217 brush and dip into a little bit of Sienna and Cypress Umber together and really work on blending out these edges very seamlessly. And I'm gonna work in very small circular motions. So I find it helpful to go in and clean up and kind of clean up the edge. And with me, eyeshadow is never done. I still perfect it even in the end once my foundation's on, and you know, so on and so forth. So right now it's just like a small tweak, but it helps me to see the bigger picture a little bit easier. So to coat my entire lid in black, I'm taking this Smoke Caviar Stick Eye Color from Laura Mercier, and I'm just taking this all over my lid. This is just to make sure that there's no like gaps, and also to give the sparkly shade that we're going to use something to adhere to. And I'm just taking it right up to the crease. And as you can see, it doesn't make a huge difference. And then what I'm going to take that is going to make a really big difference, and I'm so in love with these. This is the Block Party eyeshadow from Dose of Colors in I Need Space, and it's a dark shimmery black, almost like charcoal color. And I'm taking this on a Morphe brush that is from a rose gold collection, but the number is worn off. Alright you guys, so these are the eyes for now. They're very intense, which is totally what I was going for, but they're definitely not finished. So I'm going to go into my skin now, and my skin is pretty dry, so I'm going to be using my Too Faced Hangover RX Primer. I love this because it's hydrating without being too... I hate when primers are too hydrating and they make your foundations go on kind of weird, so I really love this one. And to add a little bit of a glow, just because I'm feeling a little bit extra today, I'm taking my Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless filter for Superstar Youth Glow in the shade number 3 Light Medium. And I'm taking this on the cheeks a little bit, on the chin, because my chin's dry, it doesn't get like shiny. For foundation today, I'm using an oldie but a goodie. This is also what I use on a majority of my clients. I would say about 90%. And this is the NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. And I'll put the shade name in my description box, because if I try and pronounce this, I think my brain might overload. So yeah, that's the only thing about NARS foundation names and shade names in general. So when I'm doing smoky eyes, I like to apply my foundation with the flat paddle brush first, just to get it laid down in the areas I want it. And then I buff it in with the Beauty Blender. So one thing about cream contouring, I definitely want to change it up a little bit more and try more advanced techniques and tone it down, tone it up, whatever I need to do. One thing I've noticed is all of the makeup artists who do work on other people a lot on Instagram, I've noticed that they always like to do the cream contouring first and then add the highlight. And I used to be the type of person to add the highlight and then warm up around the highlight. But I definitely think that adding the highlight second definitely brings that, like, those features forward in a more prominent way. I don't know, maybe I'm crazy. But yeah, I'm gonna cream contour first today, that's what I'm trying to get at. And today I'm using the Lancome Teint Idole Ultra Wear Makeup Stick in the shade 450. So obviously my hair is very short. I just got it cut this morning. So I'm taking it from the hairline back here, kind of down, and then a little bit here just to connect it. I personally usually don't do jawline cream contouring on myself, because I don't know about you guys, but I always feel like I forget and I don't blend it out. And I've left the house without it blended out. I'm not joking. So I'm gonna blend that out first. And with jawline contouring, I bring it on the jawline and kind of buff downwards. And now I'm taking my new favorite concealer, which is the Dose of Colors Meet Your Hue in the shade 16. I'm gonna take this on the back of my hand and use a brush today just because I feel like I'll have a little bit more control. And this concealer dries down very fast, so I'm gonna pat it and then blend and then do another area, just because if not, we're gonna be screwed and we're gonna be like not able to blend anything. Now that I have that color placed down, I'm gonna take my sponge and just press it in. I actually really like how this looks doing the highlight afterwards, and I just like to take my contour brush that I used earlier and just kind of stamp over top just to mesh the two together. But yeah, I really like how that looks and how they blend together. I just feel like it's a really nice pop. So now I'm gonna go ahead and highlight the rest of my face and then we will move on. So to set my under eyes, I'm using this again. This is my MAC Mineralized Skin Finish Natural in the shade Medium Plus. I love this because it's a baked powder and it looks like skin. I'm starting to hit pan. Now I'm quickly gonna set the rest of my face with my Too Faced Born This Way powder in the shade Natural Beige. And I'm just pressing this over top of the foundation. Now baking, I feel, is very much so necessary for a look like this. So I'm taking my Too Faced Born This Way Ethereal Setting Powder. And now that we already have that other powder set down, it's not gonna look crunchy and dry like it normally would. So I just take a little bit of this on my sponge and look up. Now for bronzer, I'm taking my Benefit Cheek Leader palette, and I'm gonna be dipping into a little bit of Hoola Regular and Caramel. I think we'll do a little bit of both today. And I like these because they're more of a matte bronzer, and you want your bronzer, I feel like, to be matte for more of a smoky eye. And we already have that Charlotte Tilbury glow underneath, so you can kind of see it coming through on the skin. But I feel like the bronzer you want just to add structure, especially if you're doing like flash photography. And bronzers that are matte look the best, especially in flash photos. And then for blush, I'm taking this Tarte blush that is worn out in the shade Sensual. The cap is like literally off, but I love this so much. It's like the best matte nude, and I love this It Cosmetics blush brush. I'm just applying this back on the cheeks and bringing it forward. First for highlight, I'm taking none other than my Cookie highlighter from the same Benefit palette, but you can also get these individual. And I'm taking on my Anastasia A23. And I'm applying this to the very tops of the cheekbones. And I want to do my highlight in the same angle that my eyeshadow is angled. That way you get that overall just very heightened look to the whole face. And it just makes it look a lot better overall. And I just love this highlight because it's bright, but it doesn't look textured at all. It just looks wet. Alright, so off camera, I lined both my lower lash lines with a NARS Via Veneto eyeliner. If you're looking for something that stays in your waterline, this one definitely stays. And it's the perfect liner to complement a blacked out smoky eye. So I did it, and I did it on the lower lash line a little bit thicker because I wanted that thick definition. Now I'm taking a pencil brush into the shade Sienna from the palette and just rocking it right underneath to smoke it out a bit. Alright, so for lip liner, I'm gonna use something that's defining but goes really well with their super light nude, and that is my Charlotte Tilbury Lip Cheat in Iconic Nude. And I like this because it's more cool tone and it's actually like a lip contour. So I'm just gonna line my lips with this. So as you can see, the tone of that lip liner is very cool and neutral, but it defines the lips, but without taking away too much attention from the eyes. So for lipstick today, I pulled out this Too Faced Peach lipstick in the shade Doll Face. It looks like this. I think these are exclusive to Sephora. And I love this color because it's very fair and pale. Not something I would normally go for, but something that I feel like would pair really well with this look. And I'm also definitely gonna pair it with a lip gloss to tone it down a little bit as far as like the lightness. So let's do it. So that was actually a lot lighter than I expected, and this is about to be a meme right now, so I'm just gonna blend this out with the brush. So this is how the lip would look if I kept it just matte and just how it is, which I don't hate, but I'm not obsessed with it at all. So I'm gonna go in with this Buxom Ashley gloss. I don't know who Ashley is, but she's cute. I'm actually gonna put this on my palette because I wanna put these glosses into my kit and I just got them. So I'm taking Ashley. Alright you guys, so this is the finished look. I really hope you guys like this. I am so obsessed with my Soft Glam palette. I'm so happy that I finally have this in my eyeshadow arsenal. I feel like I can do so many different looks, from cool to warm to very neutral to very smoky, obviously. So I really do like this palette. I will leave everything linked down below that I used today. But yeah, I really hope you guys like this look, and if you want to see more looks, definitely subscribe and check out my other videos if you haven't already. And yeah, I really hope you guys like this, and until next time, I will see you then.